So, a little while back I asked my community for their Pokemon hot takes and controversial opinions. And I don't think some of you quite got the memo on that, because not all of these are that spicy. But we do have some interesting ones. So starting off with one from Switch It Up Reviews, who said, I just got back into collecting and honestly I don't sleeve my valuable cards, only the ones I like. For example, I have some random Slowpoke card that is probably valueless that I have in a sleeve, but all of my Holo cards are just in a pile. That said, I think it's okay to take extra care of cards you personally like over valuable cards. So I kind of have like a mixed opinion on this. Yes, if you value a card, throw it in a sleeve, throw it in a top loader. I do the same thing. I have some cards that are worth like 10 cents that I have in a top loader and a sleeve that together basically equal more than the value of the card. At the same time, I have that like collector mentality of everything has to be protected. I want all of my cards in top loaders if possible. All right, I want the dumbest common card in a top loader. I don't have that kind of money. I don't have that kind of space. I don't have that kind of time. So the cards that other people find valuable, I also throw in top loaders. So my rule of thumb is that if it's above a holo, I throw it in a top loader. All your standard EXs, your standard Vs. And then from there, I throw some of the holos into top loaders and some of the reverses and ones that I really like. So next up, Horror J said, Dark/Shadow Pokemon are slightly overhyped. I still want them back, no doubt, but I acknowledge that they can be done better than the TCG and games have done prior. Now, to my knowledge, Shadow Pokemon kind of started with Pokemon Colosseum, and they didn't really go that far past that. We did have Dark Pokemon in the TCG, like some of these cards here on screen. And I agree, but disagree. I think something like the existence of like the Shadow Lugia kind of make me think, okay, so why aren't we doing that with all of the others? Now, of course, if we're assuming that every Pokemon can be a Dark type, then, you know, a Shadow type, then doing that with every Pokemon would be kind of absurd. But we could do it kind of similar to how they did, like, Mega Evolutions and Gigantamax. We could have Shadow type be a thing again, but treat them kind of like we do Megas, although it'd be more of a permanent evolution. So I'm fine with how they did it, so I don't fully agree with Jay here, but I agree that they could definitely do it better. Next up is Nick Laugh, who says, every card matters. If you like the card, it doesn't matter if it's only worth 1 cent. I want to collect every frog card, and even though I can get some for very few cents, I still sleeve them. People should think if they like the card, not if they value it. We kind of already covered that in the first one, and again, I don't really necessarily find that controversial. I'm sure some people do. You know, people that are like just pure value chasing. They have a favorite Pokemon, like mine being Absol. They pull an Absol card and they're like, who cares? It's worth 20 cents. But I feel like most of the people who are just value chasing, who don't agree with that comment, aren't really that into Pokemon to begin with, and they're really just here for the money of it. Keyword is most. I know there's some weirdos out there. The Druid said, I think Pokemon should do what Wizards does with Magic the Gathering. Standard packs, collector's packs, and something similar to Secret Lair. I don't want to play the TCG, but I want cards for a collection and to get graded to display. I'd pay more for collector's packs just like I do with Magic the Gathering. Okay, I gotta look something up because I have been so far removed from Magic for like 10 plus years that I don't know what they're talking about. All right, I have Google's AI overview here. In Magic the Gathering, standard packs, play boosters, are for limited formats like drafting and sealed, while collector boosters prioritize fancy premium cards and offer a better opening experience. Secret Lair drops are unique, limited release sets with alternate art and premium treatments, often offering unique cards not found in standard sets. If I had to guess, that means the crossover series. I don't like to do the crossovers. I opened Assassin's Creed and Fallout. I think those are considered Secret Lair, so they're not like really technically a part of the standard game. That's kind of their way of being able to monetize their card game, similar to how Fortnite monetizes their game with a bunch of crossovers, but without ruining the original core game and idea. But yeah, it says here, standard boosters are for playing, while collector boosters are for opening and collecting premium cards. Secret Lair drops are for collecting unique alternate cards. I agree and I don't agree. I feel like you would very quickly see just how big the collector community is. Your standard sets, which aren't going to have your valuable cards if you were to split them up like that, I feel like would plummet in value, which to be fair, if you want to just play the TCG, you don't care about collecting, you don't really care about the cards themselves, that's a good thing. But now we're splitting up their printers, which we already know the Pokemon Company isn't good with. So I think the idea is cool, but it would be too much. I would hate to be like, okay, let's say this card exists in Surging Sparks, and oh, they made an alternate version of it, but it's only in the Secret Lair set called Surging Surging Strikes. So, okay, I can open Surging Sparks and I can get this card, but then later they release Surging Strikes, the secret rare set, and it has the same card in it, but now with cooler artwork. Like, well, now I need to buy that, and I no longer have a reason to go for Surging Sparks, because the cooler thing is in here, but there's a card in Surging Sparks that I prefer over the version that's in the secret layer version, so maybe I need to do that one. I get the idea, but I don't know. I think it would split things up way too much. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like learning from other card games is a very valuable thing, but there is a limit where you have to realize that there are differences in the communities, and I feel like that would probably be one of those. Okay, this is a frequent commenter, and I still don't know how to say your name. Radian Saphir? And I gotta say, buddy, I don't agree with you on this one. The e-reader era cards were ugly. As someone who grew up when these cards were the ones in stores at the height of my quote Pokemon nostalgia phase, they actually turned me away from otherwise collecting more cards. I was actively shocked when seeing YouTubers open vintage packs from this era and geeking out over the e-reader format cards / feeling nostalgia for them, when they are the only things that actually break my nostalgic glasses. If it weren't for the few Delta Species cards from that time, I would have avoided the TCG altogether. Now, maybe I disagree, because I have very strong opinions about certain things, I have certain biases, but I also collect gaming stuff. Not far behind this green screen is my gaming shelf and every major console you can think of. And to me, the e-reader stuff was super cool. I was huge into my Game Boy during this era. And when it was like, hey, we're going to release cards that are specifically made for this accessory for your Game Boy, I was like, that is sick. How does this work? Child me couldn't comprehend how they functioned. Now, does the border and stuff on the e-reader take away from the cards? Kinda. At the same time, knowing the history behind them, knowing why they existed and what they could do, all of that gets my little nerd brain going. And I love the e-reader cards. So to an extent, I get why people don't like them. It's just like how you could not like any set. These are all just opinions. But I love my e-readers. So Hailung decided to go straight for the bonus credits here by posting basically the equivalent of 3 hot takes. So he starts off, maybe not a hot take, I don't know, but I think we've gotten really cool rarities in the TCG with IRs and SIRs. I think overall, the quality of texturing has really fallen off. It wasn't just happening in the Scarlet and Violet era, but Sword and Shield era too. Texturing is so much more flat in my opinion, which you can really see when you compare full arts from the XY era versus now. And I don't know if I could consider that one a hot take, which again, he didn't either, because I didn't even think about that. Just straight up didn't think about it. But oh my god, he's right. I went back whenever I first saw the comment pop up, what is that now, like 4 days ago. I went back and I looked at my cards, and I looked at some like XY era, going back a little bit, some of those full arts, the textured cards versus now. He's just correct. The texture doesn't, at least with the naked eye, doesn't appear to be as deep. It seems to make less of an impact on the card itself. Now, do I think that can be a good thing? Yes, with certain cards, with certain ideas, right? With certain types of illustration. You don't always want the deepest, most complex texture going on in your cards. Sometimes you barely even want it to be noticeable. But that's not every case. And I think when the Pokemon Company tries to go all out with a textured card now, it doesn't hold up to the texture that they used to do. So the next part of his post says, also, tinfoil hat theory. They purposefully added the star pattern onto the new base EXs because they wanted them to look worse to make you want the more rare cards even more. Look, it's like he said, it's tinfoil hat theory. Do I think he's correct? No. Do I think that ended up being the result anyways? Yes. Look at the base set from Scarlet and Violet base set. These holos were atrocious. Not only was the star pattern just kind of ugly and like, oh, it's just one set, who cares? But they continued with it. But the holo printing was awful. I'm happy that a lot of those cards got reprinted in future sets with a much better holo, because they looked washed out. They looked fake. It looked like I opened this pack and it was resealed because all of those packs were actually sitting out in the sun before they put the cards back in. Do I think that they've gotten better as Scarlet and Violet era has gone on? Yes, but we're kind of nearing its end. So the last part of his post. And I think grading is honestly just really dumb. I sort of get wanting to protect your cards and have some objective, my card is perfect, but I don't want to have my trading cards encased in a brick of plastic. On top of that, it feels like they only exist to make cards more valuable and to satisfy the must-make money/investing brain rot. Whether any of these are really hot takes, I don't know. So again, I agree. I don't know if everybody does, but I feel like graded cards for the most part do just exist for the money. Very recently, I was looking into getting some cards graded. I've never done it before. I've only ever owned a couple, but I have some valuable cards that I do care about, as well as some that are just extremely high value. And I was like, okay, why don't I put those into, send them in, get them graded, and that way they're in a very protective case. But you can get those protective cases without going to PSA. Now, this is a bit of a spoiler. I'm working on another project, another video. It's very expensive. But if you're watching this far, I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler. I'm looking into a solution for this. And it's not just, oh, I bought these sleeves and they look cool. There is science involved in this project. So if you're interested, it'll probably be a little bit until it's out. A lot of the things that I need haven't even arrived yet. But join the Discord, check it out, and you'll get to see, hopefully, a very interesting, informative video that may or may not change the way that you choose to protect your cards. God, I'm working on too many large projects at once. I need to at least get one of them out. But yes, I understand. The graded card things protect them more, yada yada. And can it look okay? Yes. The grading company Tag right here is one of their graded cards. I think that they look sick. They're completely clear. It's like etched into the acrylic. The card that you would have with PSA. I think that they look sick. Now, Tag has been involved in a bunch of shady things. I'm not recommending them. And apparently their cases kind of break easy. I don't know all the details. But yes, sometimes in a case like Tag, it does look cool. I'll give them that. But I'm more so caring about the card itself than the case around it. Now, I will say I disagree with them saying I don't want it to be in a plastic brick. I'm very big on protection, as I mentioned before. And so, I mean, I use top loaders for so much stuff, and now soon, probably even better forms of protection. I get where he's coming from. He appreciates the art. That's a good thing. I do too. And because I appreciate the art, I want it to be preserved. So, Tomodachi Sauce said, mine is that Emolga is the best Pokemon ever. Now, if you would have said something like Pachirisu, kind of similar to Emolga, I would have been okay with your statement. But we all know it's Absol. It's Absol. You could have said Bulbasaur, could have said Flygon, but you went with this dumb rodent. I'm kidding, like Emolga, it's fine. I forgot about this one. Oh god, sorry, Radian. Pimmy Cake says, I think the e-reader cards look really cool. Could care less about all the Umbreon hype. I think it's kind of ugly. I miss when holos were in every pack. So, this is a combo here. I'm guessing that they read Radian's comment and were like, hold on, I like e-reader cards. I want to say it's a hot take. I feel like most of the community does, so not really a hot take, but I do agree with you. Could care less about all the Umbreon hype, I also agree. As someone who, again, immediately pulled Moonbreon V2 on my very first pack of Prismatic Evolutions. It's a beautiful card. It's a very nice card. Would I pay $1,500 for it? No. Would I pay $1,000 for it? No. Would I pay $500 for it? No. If I really wanted that card, the max I would pay would be like $50 because I'm cheap when it comes to buying singles. I do think that some Pokemon hit a point where the hype is almost artificial, right? Because you have Pokemon that people are just going to like. They just like them. The design is good enough that a lot of people like them. But then you have cases like the Umbreon and the Charizard. It starts out that way, with a bunch of people liking them because they like the design. There's something that they love about that Pokemon. And then they value those things because there's a lot of those people that think it's harder to find, like in the case of an Umbreon card, because there's a lot of people that really like it. But because now it has more value behind it, more people like it. Then now that more people like it, more people like it. And it keeps going up and up and up and up and up. Yes, obviously right now, Umbreon is absurd when it comes in the community. Like, the normal statement of like, oh, Charizard is the most overhyped Pokemon. I still think that it's true. I think that there's a lot of people who like Charizard because it's like the default thing to like. But right now, I would say Umbreon is being talked about far more. So the last part of their comment was, I miss when holos were in every pack, and 100% I agree. I do see the upside, right? You're a child. You can't buy your own packs. You're relying on your parents' credit card. And your parents might not buy you that many. Well, even if you don't get a good hit, you're at least getting a holo, right? If you get like one pack, you got something out of it. From that point of view, I understand. From the point of view of collector brain, I hate it. Holos used to mean something. Look at some of the cards from like the Wizards era, and even going forward, you had holos as like, your standard holo were like the most valuable cards in the set. And of course that went down over time, but now those holos are like the same value as the uncommons because they're easier to pull. Imagine a set where there are 10 holos, right? If you open 10 packs, it's unlikely, but there's a chance that you now have all 10. But in that same set, there are 50 uncommons. You only get 3 per pack. Can you do the math? Figure out how much harder it is to pull all of those uncommons than it is to pull all of the 10 or so holos. Now, those numbers come off the top of my head, but my point still stands. Holos don't need to be guaranteed. I think it is stupid. You want to do 2 reverses? Fine. Reverses are already guaranteed. They're not like a super hyped thing. Do 2 reverses. I'm cool with it. Next one comes from Raises Titan Casual. My favorite Pokemon tend to be the dumb ones. I like Slowpoke, Psyduck, Quagsire, Wooper. I firmly believe this is untrue, and that they are in fact very intelligent. But their brain processes are way too fast for everything else to keep up. I mean, sure, a lot of people do tend to like the kind of sillier, goofier, dumber Pokemon. But the idea that they're actually secretly smart, but it's kind of like time travel, right? Or not time travel, the FTL, faster than light travel. Well, one of the biggest theories around how we accomplish that is not actually to move your object, your ship, through space at faster than light. Rather, it would be pulling the rest of the universe around it. So the universe would be moving, it's actually sitting still, right? So I think the theory here is that these Pokemon are actually so fast that their brains are firing too quickly for the universe to do anything about. And so instead, it dumbs them down. But they left another comment, and this is how my divorce begins. I like Ivysaur slightly better than Bulbasaur. Same goes for most other 3+ stage evolution lines. So this is where I have to unveil something. Raises Titan Casual is my wife. I was in the bathroom when she left this comment. I got notified about it because I'm a psychopath and I have notifications on for YouTube comments. I immediately, when I left the bathroom, I went straight to her and I was just like, you are putting Ivysaur above Bulbasaur. Ivysaur is Bulbasaur stuck in puberty, acne and all. But then she did say also that she puts Venusaur above him too. So she puts the pecking order of the Bulbasaur line, if I remember the conversation correctly, to be Ivysaur, Venusaur, Bulbasaur. So yes, I have already contacted my lawyers. I really like the star pattern on SV era EX cards. I also find more personal collections, like all of a certain Pokemon or all of a certain artist's cards, far cooler than collections of purely valuable cards. Again, if you like a card's art, cool. I think the star pattern thing is stupid. I think they need to mix it up more often. I think in the base set of Scarlet and Violet, it looked terrible. So, definitely a hot take. And, second half, yeah, I gotta agree. When someone's collection, means something to them, they love a certain Pokemon, so they're collecting all of that Pokemon, or they really like a certain artist, so they keep going after that artist. As an example, Absol is my favorite Pokemon. So, I sought out this old, mini portfolio binder that was in Japan only, that has Absol on the front. For my Absol collection. It even includes non-standard things like that weird card right there. And of course, the Jumbo. Please put Absol in more sets. And I've been considering, and I have only looked into it a little bit, my favorite Pokemon card, which I actually have an extended card artwork slab for, the Zeraora V. Okay, my camera doesn't really want to focus on him, but this guy right here. I've looked at some more of this artist's cards, and I love them, and I've considered getting a collection of his cards together, along with even just a collection of Zeraora. I feel like those kind of collections are, more unique, because there's so many different ways that people are going to value their things and want to organize their things, and I agree, it's really cool. Crystal Fan says, the whole bad binder behavior thing is stupid. Not everyone collects the trade, grade, and sell, and I sure as heck don't have the time, space, or money to sleeve and binder each of my thousands of cards. And I sure as hell don't have the money to replace all of my faded, ripped, or wrinkled cards. It's a dumb way of looking at storage. Yes, if your card is damaged, you don't have to immediately go out and get a new one. I will say, if you're putting your cards in a binder, please use sleeves. It can be a penny sleeve. Please use sleeves. So I don't really necessarily agree with this person. If I like something, I want to keep it in shape. I want to keep it functional and, as good of a condition as possible. It's the same reason people say not to use 3-ring binders, and it's better to use the ones that are sewn in. I use a mixture of both. If you don't overfill the 3-ring binder and you store it correctly, it's fine. But I gotta disagree, 100% on this one. I think the way that you store things is very important, and if you're okay with your cards getting destroyed because you don't want to get anything to protect them, that's fine. It doesn't affect me at all. But for my own collection, yes, I am going to spend what I need to keep my cards protected. And it really isn't that expensive. We got a pretty long one here from Heavy Arms. Scalpers have ruined the game. Where? How is this controversial? You can't just be a casual fan anymore, and God forbid being a kid who wants to get into it. I disagree, you can be a casual fan, more on that in a minute. If I'd asked my parents as a kid, will you drive me to every store in town on the blind hope that they may have some cards left at MSRP, they would have me drug tested. And I'm pretty sure I would have been grounded for suggesting buying a pack of shiny cardboard for $15, which is the average price I can find in person, if I can find any at all. Don't tell me to buy singles, don't even try it. For collectors, that's impossible for anyone not as wealthy as Elon Musk. And don't tell me, but I made this Fringe Rogue deck and it only cost me $30, I don't care. A lot to unpack here. First off, I fully get where this person's coming from. They're also frustrated with how expensive and bullshit everything is right now. So the statement that you can't be a casual fan anymore, I disagree. You just gotta kind of pause it right now. Like, you can still be a casual fan, just like wait a month, and then you can open some more packs. Like, this isn't going to last. We've been through this before. We're gonna go through it again. It's the way it is. But the statement here, will you drive me to every store in town on a blind hope that someone has cards left at MSRP? Again, just wait. If you're going out and driving around town and hitting up every shop, like, I get the analogy of like, oh, asking my parents to do it. But if you're a grown adult, why are you doing that? Like, sit at home, play some games, hang out with friends and family, like, do something productive, and then once in a while, check and see if there are any drops, and then move on. I don't know, has anybody done that? I think it's sad, I honestly do. Like, I do this, like, YouTube thing as, like, my side job now, right? It's a hobby that is slowly turning into a job. And so, like, getting product is very important for me, especially if I want to keep up with the current 3 videos a week that I'm doing right now. Do you know what I haven't done? I haven't been driving store to store. I haven't been setting up bots to scalp things for me. I haven't been paying scalpers. That's not entirely true. There was a $40 box that I bought for $44 the other day. I think that increase is okay. There's a point in which I don't consider it scalping anymore, when their profit margin is being eaten up by the shipping and all the things that they had to do to get it. Plus, I don't even think they were a scalper. It seemed like a legitimate, like, business, which I know a lot of scalpers claim to be. Don't tell me to buy singles. Don't even try it. For collectors, it's impossible for anyone as wealthy as Elon Musk. Okay. I'm not rich, and as I mentioned, I don't spend that much money on singles. But I buy singles. If you're trying to collect cards like the Moonbryon 2.0, or that Zeraora V that I showed, or those very expensive cards, like, yeah, if those are what you're after, it's going to be expensive to buy them as singles. At the same time, it's cheaper than trying to chase them down in packs. The odds are against you by buying packs. If what you care about are specific cards, singles is the way to go. Now, is it something that I do actively? No. In fact, I only buy singles because I started doing a segment in my videos called the bonus card of the day at the end of each video. And because there were a couple cards I found at my local card shop that I liked. But I didn't buy singles for the longest time, and it's still just a casual thing that I do on the side. There are some people who only do singles. The statement that you have to be as rich as Elon Musk, I mean, yes, if you want to have a collection as valuable as Elon Musk's wealth. If you have $10, you can buy a $10 card. If you have $10, you can buy 10 $1 cards. And again, in the long run, buying singles will work out for you better than buying packs that chase down specific cards. I still prefer the gambling, though. So from Collector Craze Pika, these pieces of paper don't worth the value they put on. Now this is actually going to lead me to a tangent before we get to our final one. There's a comment that I have been getting like crazy lately. Like at least like once every 1 to 2 days. And I always just ignore it. It drives me insane. It just isn't one person. It's just the same sentiment. And it's been driving me insane. So I finally decided to respond to one of them. And then I typed even more when I shared it in the Discord. I have a bit to read here. So again, this comment was not on this post, but rather just one that's been driving me insane, and that post that they made is kind of similar to this here. They said, why are we so low as a civilization that random pieces of paper have, quote, value? You ready for my response? Because I've been pent up about this, because people keep commenting it. Kinda always been the case. Used to be gold, which only had value because we valued it. We still value gold today. Paper money was backed by that gold, so we also value that paper. Now, TCGs are effectively backed by that paper, because again, humans value it. The same as people valuing expensive clothes, fancy food, and luxury cars, etc. Everything has value. It just depends on who you ask and how much. I do not value feces, but farmers do. I don't value expensive sneakers, but many people do. I see my car's value as being equal to its ability to get me to work. Others see a car's value by how the car looks, sounds, and drives. All throughout human history, desire has existed. It's not just modern culture, but all cultures. If something is desired, even by only one person, then it has some value. Or because shiny cardboard tickles people's brains, But that rant went on a little bit longer when I shared that in the Discord. Why do people pay for paper? It's just fucking paper. Said while paying off an expensive car loan, wearing Nike shoes, and buying name brand foods. If you don't desire it, of course you will not see its value. I think Funko Pops are a waste of plastic 99% of the time, but I respect that they have value because people desire them. I can think whatever I want about the person who desires them, but I'm not in that space, I'm not in that market, or that target demographic. I am an outsider judging from behind foggy glass. Don't lash out just because you don't get it. I 100% don't get car people, but I'm friends with a lot of them, and I know that it makes them happy. We all have to cope somehow. All of this is to say, these comments drive me insane. Grow up, use your big boy brain. Now, they did eventually respond to me saying like, oh, but gold is useful, it has a use. True. Is everything that that person has ever bought that they have valued had a specific use? Do you have art hanging on your wall? Guess what? It's just paper. Do you just buy plain white t-shirts? Have you had a perfectly functioning fine television, but upgraded it because the new one looked better? Have you ever paid for a movie? Have you ever paid for a game? Have you ever paid for music? Have you ever paid for a streaming service? Because all of those fall into the category of entertainment, and therefore are non-essential. I meant to bring this up in the original video, but I live in a tourist city. Also, it's 5:30 in the morning, so I have to be a little quiet. Living in a tourist city, I see every day how much people value entertainment. The kind of money that people will spend on simply going out for one night, doing one thing. Things that, for me, I take for granted living in the area that I do. And some things that I genuinely never had any interest in, that people spend a lot of money on. It's a massive industry. And can you not say that cards and the Pokémon franchise as a whole doesn't have a entertainment factor? Every single thing on this planet has value. It's up to how much people desire it and the scarcity of the thing that sets the price. Now, he did point out, hey, like they just print somebody of this card and that's what makes it expensive. Yes, I can't control how much they print of it. If I could, then I would have it. And how boring would this TCG be if every card was the exact same rarity? Why do video games cost money? Digital video games doesn't cost anything to let you have it because work went into it. They had to use the paper, pay the artists, have all these printing machines, the pack sealers, the boxes, everything else. That sets the ground floor for what you have to purchase in order to even get the card, right? So if the most expensive card in a set is worth $200, right? Well, if you could pull it from a $5 pack, that sets the floor at that like $5 mark, right? Because what you have to buy at the bare minimum to pull that thing. After that, it's how much do other people desire that object. I'm just so tired of that. It's like, why are these things so expensive? I don't get it. Yes, right now it's stupid because scalpers are a thing. But these cards have always had value. That's not, like, this argument isn't just a recent thing. Right now, I'm wearing an Under Armour shirt. I wouldn't have purchased this shirt if it wasn't for my job who purchased it for me because I was in a hotel explosion and all my clothes were ruined and I needed something to wear to work. I don't care about the name brand Under Armour. But you see how much money Under Armour makes? Do you paint the walls of your house? You have valued that paint. Does it serve a purpose? Well, it makes your wall blue. It's just cosmetic. But you valued it. You put the money into buying that paint. I don't know, there's so much I have to say on the topic. It just drives me insane. Like I said, I don't understand sneakerheads, but it makes them happy. Do their thing. I don't understand car people. It makes them happy. Do your thing. If I'm not in the market, I can't judge them that harshly. Because I understand at the very base level, at the dumbest part of my brain, I understand that it's not meant for me and that they enjoy it. Will I be buying $2,000 shoes anytime soon? No, because I don't desire them. Sorry, this keeps going on and on. We got one more comment to go to. Your local punk said, regular cards can have amazing art. Don't discard them just for being normal and not rare. Again, I agree. I feel like the whole idea of discarding, though, a little bit of a weird phrasing there. If a card is worth 2 cents and you don't like the card and you don't like the artwork and you decide to rip the card in half, you're not hurting yourself and you're not hurting anybody else. It's a 2-cent card that every single person that's opened that set has pulled that card before. To be fair, if you have a $5,000 card and you rip it in half, the only person you're hurting then is yourself. If you just really don't care and that money also means nothing to you, then you're still not hurting other people. When people get offended over that kind of thing, like, I also see it as cringy. You're just doing it to get attention. But that was your card to do with what you wanted. You wanted to rip it. Sure. But yeah, that's the same sentiment we keep saying in multiple comments in this video. Even the lowest value card is still going to be desirable to somebody. But I haven't given any of my own hot takes, aside from any that might have come out during all of that. So I'm going to make this one very brief. This thing. Want to see a little video that makes me happy? Yes, that makes me happy. I don't like Piplup. I don't know why. I can't explain myself. Penguins used to be my favorite animal. They still probably are my favorite animal. I just don't really think about it. So you would think, why not Piplup? I like Ice Cube. Ice Cube is cool. I would put Ice Cube above Piplup. I put all the Pokemon above Piplup. I don't get it. I feel like there's like some childhood trauma in here that like just made me hate that little blue penguin, but I really don't like it. And every time somebody's like, I need you to explain yourself, I'm like, look at it. Look at it. Look at this thing. Why would you like this? That's my only explanation. That's it. That's all I have for you. So this idea came from another Pokemon YouTuber who has been blowing up lately, Kyra. I would suggest you go check her out. I'll leave a link for her down below. And the funniest thing is, she just uploaded a video the other day. She uploaded an Ask Me Anything, and in that video, someone asked her, like, do you like or hate Piplup?
Do you like Piplup? Yes. Who doesn't like Piplup? If you don't like Piplup, you're a little bit weird. And I don't think we can be friends. Now,
I don't know if that person came from one of my videos or from my community with my Piplup hate that occasionally sneaks out into my videos. But if so, it was hilarious. I'm just happy that the Piplup hate snuck out from one of my videos. If that's what happened. But if you like Piplup, you do you. I don't hate you. I just hate your opinion. Anyways, that's gonna do it. I'm probably gonna do another one of these. This was actually pretty fun to do. Let me know down below if you liked the video, things that I could change. I feel like it was very long-winded. Oh my god, I've been recording for almost an hour. And if you want to be featured in the next one, if I do another one of these, if you join the Discord, I will, whenever I post it in the community posts, I'll also cross-post it in Discord. So in case you happen to miss it on YouTube, you can also catch it on the Discord if you want to leave your own controversial opinion. But either way, thank you guys very much for watching, and hopefully I will see all of you next time. Goodbye for now. I don't want a big hunk of plastic around my card. No, this is the bare minimum. You need to be doing this. You need to get one of these. This is how all of your cards should be stored.